It made me think about a strange encounter that I had at the National Arts Center when I walked in. And remember, this is for one of the highest ranking American cabinet secretaries, Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, meeting Chrystia Freeland. There's so much at stake: military, commerce, diplomacy with China. There's so much going on. And everyone was on their best behavior. Everything was scripted. There were so many handlers. There was so much security. And it was quite an amazing feeling. The ambassador from the United States to Canada was there. It was her last day. She was dressed to the nines, lots of VIPs. And as I walked into the National Arts Center, I saw a guy who was scurrying about, talking on his cell phone, and he reminded me a little bit of a wedding planner. He came across that way. He was effusive. He was very dramatic. And the strange thing about him was that he wasn't wearing socks. He was wearing a suit, but his pants were short. And I could tell he was wearing teeny tiny socks that exposed his ankles and a little string anklet, an ankle bracelet. Here's what it looks like. And I later discovered that is Chrystia Freeland's communications director. That's the man in charge of sending our images, sending our impressions to the world as Canadians. And that was how he was dressing on this momentous day where Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was coming to town. And my first thought was, put on some socks, what are you doing? And of course, Kian, who's much younger than me, said, Ezra, that's sort of the millennial style. Well, I don't care what style it is. You have the Secretary of State of the United States coming, and you're dressing like you're at some bar or club or something. Put on a suit, put on some socks, and yeah, we know you want to show us that anklet. And maybe that's a high fashion somewhere, but I thought to myself, who would do that? Who would do that on this most grave and important meeting? It felt disrespectful to me. Now, maybe I'm just showing my age. I'm coming across as a fuddy-duddy, but I just couldn't stop looking at this guy. Everyone else was wearing suits and very formal, but the maestro of the whole event was dressed like a punk, like a kid. And I thought, well, that's how Chrystia Freeland's whole entourage is. They're this millennial team shaking up the world order and doing it their way, and they're not going to be button-down fuddy-duddies like old Mike Pompeo is. Yeah, except for how's that working out for Canada? From Saudi Arabia to China to India to the United States, it's been a series of diplomatic disasters, some of which has been substantive. You just can't get around what China did to Canada in retribution for us arresting the Huawei executive. But how Canada has handled that has been a disaster. Look at how Canada handled India, blaming India for the fiasco of the trip there. My point is, Chrystia Freeland's team of millennial know-nothings and their arrogant style, which it rubs people the wrong way. I understand from news reports that Freeland herself was asked to leave the final phases of the NAFTA renegotiations because she was so irritating to the U.S. delegation. My point is, that is who we are putting forward as our best face. And even the little things, like not wearing socks when Mike Pompeo is coming, it just shows an arrogant, know-nothing, know-it-all. But come to think of it, that's a perfect hire for Chrystia Freeland and Justin Trudeau, who, I guess, loves socks a little too much. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day I do a video monologue and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.